How do you see your future?
Long term, I want to be a foster parent.
Yeah.
That is something that I have my heart I have my heart set on it. I'm determined to do whatever it takes to become that. And I think more people from care need to step up and become foster parents and give the children who are in those situations what they really need, and I feel that that's someone who understands what they're going through. But that's sort of me saying I need to do this for the world. One thing I want to do for myself is I want to be a carpenter, but I don't want to be a carpenter in the sense that I build homes. I want to be a carpenter in the sense that I build like fine furniture, like handmade, custom, fine furniture. Like that's something that I learned I love doing in high school, and if I can find a way to make that make me money, I'll be set.
What is your favorite happy memory?
That one's kind of hard for me because I remember the day that I was picked up. I remember the worst memory, which was the day I was brought into foster care. But if I had to think back on one single moment that made me happy, it'd probably be learning to ride a bike. I fell once. I had to ride a bike on a gravel driveway, and it wasn't like it was like the small ones that like get stuck on the wheels. They were like sharp little rocks. Like I fell once. I remember that day like just like it was yesterday, and for me it was like, I learned how to ride a bike and I only fell once.
If you could go on vacation anywhere in the world, anywhere, where would you go?
I'd probably go get lost in Australia. I mean, I understand that everything there is 10 times bigger and wants to kill me, but once you learn how to beat it off with a stick.
What was your favorite subject at school?
My school had this trades program. In your grade 11 or 12 year, you end up in this program, and you do your first year for an apprenticeship in that industry. And they pay for your technical training, and then they give you a bunch of other stuff on top of that. My program gave me tools, high-vis vest, rain gear. They gave me the cost of books, tuition, and all this stuff for my technical training. And so in my grade 12 year, last semester, I was actually enrolled in 3 schools. All for carpentry. So I was a Fraser Heights student taking a Kwantlen Polytechnic University course for carpentry at Guilford Park Secondary. I had 3 schools breathing down my neck like, hey, do your stuff. And so I don't regret doing it. It was nice to know that, hey, I'm the second person in my family who's done post-secondary. And it was nice for me. It was something that I can say, yeah, I did that, and I'm proud I did it.
With you wanting to be a foster parent, like, what are you going to do differently than how you felt that you were brought up?
When I was in my second home, there was a lot of issues per se with the home. My foster parents had cut me off from my family. Little did I know. So they would screen the calls from my family members before I even got them. And my brothers were telling me that they were calling me like at least once a week, right? And they have call logs to prove it, and they've shown them to me. They're like, yeah, this is when I called you. And I'm like, all I could tell them was, I got none of those calls. And so I started wondering what happened. And then I started thinking back to when I was in that home. I started connecting all the little dots. I'm like, I was never allowed to answer the phone. So they would answer the phone, and then if it was for a call for me, they would hand the phone off to me. And so I never got calls from my brother. I never got calls from my mom or my dad. And they sort of isolated me from the rest of my family, and the only time that I would see my family was when my grandparents would set up like a visit with them, and then my mom or dad would be there with them. And then Christmas, when I'd go to my grandma's every Christmas, because that was my family's tradition. And so those were like the only main times I would see my family. But I would never get any of these calls that were all being placed. And so for me, I think I want to give kids the freedom to know their family and build the relationship with their family that I missed out on for 3 years, because I had this relationship with my family, and I had it for 6 years, and then all of a sudden I'm being cut out of my family, and it seemed like they were trying to take me away from my family and make me a part of theirs, and it wasn't really working. And so for me, I want to give kids the freedom to express themselves openly and honestly, because a lot of the emotions that they're going to have are going to be hard to express. I expressed my sadness and misunderstanding with anger, which for me that was the only way I could figure out how to express what I was feeling, because I was, 9, 10, 4 to 6. I was really young ages, and I couldn't figure out personally how to express them. And I want to give kids the opportunity to do that. But yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.